today, like I was saying, I've got to do the door sills, and lining of the boot. 5 minutes tops. Then after that I've got to assess the paintwork. I had a quick look at it yesterday under a light, and I think I don't need to do a full correction because this car has never, and not even at the dealership actually, I gave them very specific instructions not to wash the car. So this car has actually never been washed by anyone else apart from me. Now that's not to say there aren't any scratches on it, because sometimes when I leave the car out, my father likes a clean car, and he uses quick detailer right on a dusty car with a microfiber, and it has imparted some scratches on the car. I mean, that's to be expected. So it's an ongoing struggle that I have. But yeah, so something that I'm working on, and hopefully it won't happen again after the amount of work that I'm about to put in. Some stern words perhaps with the father, but ultimately he's my father, and you've got to respect your elders, and paint can be corrected. Respect is respect your elders. So it's a losing battle. But considering still the paint is in good condition, so my plan is to get on the quarter panel, mask off maybe 3 sections, and starting off with the lightest spectrum, work towards slightly heavier if the lightest don't work. So the plan is to first of all go with an ultrafine Rupes pad with Manzana third step polish, which has a cut level of 2 and a gloss of 10. Let's see how that works. If that doesn't work, then I will change the pad, keep the compound the same. So I'll go do a fine pad from Rupes and use the same Manzana polish. If that doesn't work, then I'll look to go to the medium polish, and with the medium pad, this is all at speed 4. So I have the Rupes Bigfoot LHR 15 Mark III. So this is all at speed 4, relatively slow movements and no real pressure, just to see the sort of cut I'm getting. And I'll do those 3, and I'll look at the gloss and the cut. Now the aim of this is not to remove every single scratch, because I don't want to do a super heavy correction. I think 90 to 95% correction would be good enough for me. And to be honest, I should be able to achieve that with a relatively low cut, because the paint is pretty good. I'll show you guys what the paint looks like, and yeah, we'll get on with it and we'll see it. Now the good thing is the roof is wrapped, so I don't have to do that, and I've got a great big honking stripe running through the middle of the car, so that's gonna only reduce the surface area I've got on machine polish, or the paint rather, the risk. So yeah, so let me show you guys the setup I have. So here's the setup. So I've got the Rupes Bigfoot LHR 15 Mark III dual action polisher, and then I've got the mini DA as well for the smaller areas, which should allow me to do the whole car pretty effectively. These are the compounds that I have in terms of what I'll be using. So I envisage myself using this one the most, I think. I don't think I need the medium cup. I think the paint is more than good enough to just be fine with this. No way. Heavy cut, no way. Although it is a good compound, which is what I used on my wheels, because I had a story with that for another time. And then these are the pads that I've got, a whole bunch of microfibers. So initially I'm gonna start with, these are Cortex. So initially I'm gonna start with this. This is the ultra fine, and this is the fine. So I don't plan on using any other pads apart from these 2. So that's for the mini one. Then I have some other pads. So again, same. so I don't really envisage using anything other than these. So, and this, and maybe this. But that's pretty much it. After that, the plan is to seal the paint, and for that I have this. I've had this for a while, Black Fire Wet Diamond All Finish Protection. I actually think it's a pretty good sealant because it's very slick and gives a wet look. I might go for the Manzana Power Lock, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just use that. And then as a finishing off for protection, this is not a Nebraska wax. It's actually the Adams Polishes ceramic paste wax, and I'll build up a few layers of this, and then on top of that I will then apply the Manzana sealing wax protection as well, just to start building up the layers. So that's the plan, and I'm going to show you guys what the paint condition is. Another thing I forgot to mention is that I have a paint depth gauge. It's a relatively cheap one which I bought from Amazon, but it works. You know, I've compared the readings from other higher end paint depth gauges, and this is there. The good thing is it comes with its own calibration plates and plastic wraps, so it's not a cheap one. Right, so I've gone around the car and I have done 54 readings, which came to an average of 122, and my door sills are around 65 to 77. So I have, to be honest, the normal amount of clear to work with. Turn this around. So it's a normal amount of clear to work with, which is good, which is what I expect, because this car has been in my care since new. It's not really had any issues, so that's good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start marking up. Well, I need to give an IPA wipe down to the area that I'm going to test on. I'm going to create 3 squares where I can, because this car is very curvy as well. And I'm going to take measurements of those 3 squares and see how much of a cut I get, various different combinations, and how much correction I get. And based on that, I will make the decision of how much correction I want, because I don't want to sacrifice a lot of clear, because the car is still very young. It's been well looked after, and to be honest, the scratches aren't that bad. It should just be a fine enhancement polish. One, 2, 3, 1, 3, 0, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 8, 1, 2, 8. So it's about that the reading is here. So first things first. So I'm going for the Super Finish Plus and the fine, ultra fine pad. So let's see how we do on the small one, because the area is quite small that I'm working on. So we'll go with that here. I'm just going to start by spreading it around. so I think I might go a little more. So let's use the harder pad with this polish. Yeah, I think if I go with super fine polish with a medium cut pad, that should be good enough for the whole car. So this is unpolished. Yep, nothing, absolutely nothing. 3.5 years nearly. Then you go from there to the first ever correction here, you can see. So this is with a ultra fine pad and super finish polish from Manzana. So it's corrected a lot really. And then this is with, you can see there's still some scratches. Difficult to pick up, but they are there. But then when you go over to the main one, which is the slightly coarser pad, which is the fine pad with super finish polish, and it's just way better. And if I keep going on, you can see when it changes, all of a sudden, there you go. So that was episode 2 in the series of 5 episodes that we'll be filming. I've got the footage, I just need to piece it all together, but obviously it's time consuming. So the key to the method selection is, to be honest, you see a lot of videos by a lot of detailers who sort of, you know, want 100% correction. The aim of this series is to tell you that you don't need 100% correction, simply because it's a false economy. It's, you spend a lot of money or your time or your effort, and the returns are diminishing basically. So you get diminishing returns on the effort or whatever metric that you want to use that you put in it. So doing the method selection the way this video shows, bear in mind I've never used a dual orbital polisher on a car before. I've done one correction on a BMW I used to own, and that's it. That's all the experience I have. So this was and is a learning curve for me as well. So if you've never attempted something like this before, you're in the perfect place really. And the key to the method selection is, I just want you to, for a moment, absolutely forget about, you know, what the professionals say, you know, what's perfect, you know, 100%, 95%, 90%, you know. In all honesty, I think these are some strong words, but I think it's a load of rubbish. Unless your car is a garage queen and you never drive it, you know, behind other cars, right? You are not gonna get 100% correction every 3 or 4 or 5 years. And in my opinion, 100% correction, a 95% correction, a 90% correction is not worth it for the amount of money, the amount of clear coat loss, for the amount of effort that's expended onto your car. You should be satisfied with something like 70, 80, 85% at the most. Who's going to judge your car is, the biggest question, and the only person, in my view, who needs to be happy with their car is the one that's about to work on their car and watching this video, right? You should not care about what I think of your car, because I certainly don't care what you think of my car, right? I love my car the way it is, right? If you love it, great. If you don't like it, great. Notice the same reaction. So when it comes to method selection, the philosophy that you have to use is you drive your car, right? It's a daily, you live with it or whatever, right? You have certain expectations of the paint finish that you want. It's like those, girls magazines for women where they show these like unrealistic, bodies that, which are photoshopped and stuff like that. The philosophy is similar, so don't expect to get rid of every single scratch. It's not gonna happen. It's not worth it. If you can do it, for the whole car, like, hats off to you, but to what end? Right, to what end? So the only person that needs to be happy with what method selection that you're using and the correction factor that you're getting based on what I've said on this video is you, right? You're the one who's going to have to do the work. You're the one who's going to have to put in the effort. You are the one who's going to have to go and do the work and bend your back and break it and spend the time, right? So it's up to you to find a nice compromise where you are happy with the level of correction that you are getting, right? And the method shown in this video is very simple. It's very crude, but you know what? It works, right? All you need to be able to do this is, let me just show you. All you need is bottles this size. They do go bad after a while, so don't get big bottles which you're not going to use enough. I like Menzena. Why? Because it is simple, very simple. You have 4 stages to a correction, any correction, right? Then it's up to you which stages you want to skip on. So this one is actually very good. It's the heavy cut compound, and if you look here, it gives you step 1. So this is step 1, 2 and 3 all in one, right? And this will give you a heavy cut but with a good gloss level as well. Yeah, so it gives you an 8 cut out of 10, which is pretty severe, but it also finishes off with an 8 gloss, which means you can skip a lot of faffing around. If you're not going to use that, I don't think you should, because this is for like really bad paint work, like really bad. So you should never really have to use anything other than these compounds if you look after your car. So in terms of method selection, again, medium cut. So this is step 2. So there's 4 steps again. Step 2, it offers you a cut of 3 or 5 out of 10, and it gives you a gloss of 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, right? No, 7 out of 10, my bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 10, right? So on my hood, you'll see in the next video, I had to use this. But if you can avoid using that altogether, right? Super Finish Plus, that's all you need, right? Step 3, very light cut, 2, gloss of 10, full gloss, right? This is why you should try, in my opinion, like, I don't know, some pro detailers are going to come in here and start, pooing on my words, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Neither should you. Again, it's about you and what you want out of your car. I am very happy with the correction I've achieved on my car with just this and a couple of pads, right? Don't buy into all of that stuff. But anyway, so 2 cut, so very light, good amount of gloss, and then you can choose a more abrasive pad or a less abrasive pad to get the gloss level at the same time, right? But if you're going to use this, and you have to use a pad that is a bit abrasive as well because your paintwork's not been finished off very well or whatever, then you know, I would advise you follow it with this so you get a consistent gloss throughout your car. Bit of a rant, but you know, I felt I had to get this sort of off my chest, and I'm actually working on something that will allow me to talk about this sort of stuff in a lot more detail. So next episode, I start to really get into sort of polishing the car, and yeah, make some serious progress. And tune in, like and subscribe if you're finding this useful. It always motivates me whenever I hear even one person tell me that, you know, they found the videos useful, and that I should keep producing them, and I will. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.